Hey, what's up, everybody? Here with the video that's a little bit different today. As a lot of you probably know, I collect coins and into bullion and metals and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people talk about silver, they talk about gold, and with good reason. One thing I like to look at quite a bit is copper, and specifically pennies. So what I like to do, and I know you see a lot of this on YouTube, but it's not really fully described. A lot of people will take out, go to the bank and take out some rolled pennies, and they might just look for copper. And I notice some people will look for certain kinds of rarer coins, some varieties and whatnot. But, there's actually a lot of value to be found just going to the bank and maybe getting even just 10 rolls just for $5. Typically, when I end up getting these pennies, and I find the copper pennies, they stopped making them in around mid-1982. So some 82s are copper, some are like a zinc alloy. I usually just keep the ones from 81 and under because I don't feel like kind of going through the 82s figuring out which is which. So I just stick with the pre-81s. So, typically I would go through these. On a good box, I'll usually get 25 to 30%, which are copper. I hold those aside. I pull out the 2009s just because the mintages were so low. You don't find them that often. Not really worth a heck of a lot extra, but for only a penny a piece, I think it's worth it just to save them. Plus, kind of like the design, so I do save them. And then, of course, I always hold aside the wheat pennies when I do find them. That kind of varies, but you can usually find like maybe 10 per box or something. I've had some really good times where I've gotten maybe like a roll or two in one box, maybe a collection dump, let's say. And it never ceases to amaze me how many times you can go through, like say, a box of pennies, and you can find brilliant uncirculated or mint-staked pennies from the 60s. I've picked up some really beautiful pennies just in circulation to fill out a book. And then finally, what I also like to do is I make up Canadian sets, and I do have some Canadian cents that I get. But the big thing is, besides all the goodies you can find in the varieties, is like I said, as you could tell, these are basically circulated, customer rolled. Sometimes you do get unlucky and you get uncirculated boxes. Don't like those. I don't really need 2,500, 2020 zinc pennies, but like I said, you do get lucky. Recently, copper prices went up to, I believe, about $4.20 or $4.21 a pound. For the longest time, it was in the mid to high twos. And with prices today, I believe they are $4.12 as of me making this video. And at $4.12, your typical 81 or older penny is worth about 2.8 cents. And a lot of the Canadian pennies are actually a little more valuable because they had a little bit more copper and a higher percentage of copper versus the 97.5% in these. It was 98%, and it was 3.2 grams. So right now it's about 2.9 cents for the Canadian pennies, and for a little while they were over 3. Now, if you've been following the world around us, we're heading towards a lot of inflation. So if you have a weaker dollar and a higher demand for copper and inflation, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that, in future years, you might see copper hit $6 or $8 or $10 a pound. Now, obviously, that's nothing I'm saying that's going to happen, in the coming months or year or 2 years or 3 years, but at some point it might happen. And it would be nice to hold these aside. Now, some people say, well, you can't melt the pennies legally, which is true. It's illegal to melt U.S. pennies because it's legal tender. But think of how many people have silver coins. They don't buy them with the intention of melting them. They buy them because of the intrinsic value in them. So when these are 3 cents a piece, a roll of pennies that you paid only 50 cents for is technically worth $1.50. If you're pulling out wheat pennies, you might be lucky and be able to get maybe get them for 3 or 4 cents at a store, a coin shop. But if you go on eBay, people will pay more for that. Sometimes they'll pay 5 to 10 cents a piece for them. If you're pulling out a lot of them, it's not a bad profit, especially if you can pull out some errors and varieties and some other good stuff. So, a lot of you have probably heard a little bit or, about the copper prices and picking some good stuff out. Nice little hobby to get involved in if you're not involved in it already. And, you're kind of saving some hard assets. Like I said, it's not going to make you rich, but you're making a little extra money on the side, and you do have a hard asset in case you see a big increase in copper prices. And plus, like historically and design-wise, I just love pennies anyway. So I'm a little weird that way, but just thought I'd bring you something a little different for today. Hope you have a good day. Please like or share the video too if you appreciate it. Have a good one.